So, guys, I just watched Thor: Love and Thunder is the fourth movie in the Thor franchise, and Chris Hemsworth returns as well as Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie and Taika Waititi as Korg. Natalie Portman is also returning as Jane Foster, also known as Mighty Thor, with the Guardians of the Galaxy also making an appearance as well. There's some new characters like Russell Crowe, who is playing Zeus, and Christian Bale, who's playing Gore, the God Butcher. Let's start off with the good parts of this movie. The good parts of Thor: Love and Thunder are its amazing visuals, and there's one fight scene in the movie that is probably one of my favorite fight scenes in the MCU. For me, the movie worked the most well when it's focused on the relationship between Thor and Jane. The chemistry between Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman shines through in this movie, unlike in any other Thor movie. And I genuinely wanted to see the relationship work. Gore the God Butcher was great when he was in the movie, and though he's not in the movie as much as I thought he would be, I didn't feel like I needed more from him, and I thought the movie gave me the right amount of time with his character. The soundtrack was obviously amazing, and I had a grin whenever Guns N' Roses or Michael Giacchino's score was playing in the background. Next up is the bad parts of this movie. If you've been on the internet, you know the movie has not been loved by either critics or fans. Where I stand on this is that I do agree that the movie had too many jokes, but I think that only applied to the first act, and honestly, the first act had more jokes in it than Ragnarok alone. I honestly, with my whole heart, think Korg didn't need to be in this movie, and he's only used for comedic relief. And maybe it's just me, but they could have given him something to do aside from being a comedic relief. Valkyrie, I had a similar problem with. I thought for what Tessa Thompson was given, I thought she was great, but I also think that she didn't need to be in the movie. But I did think that being King of Asgard could have been something they explored a bit more, and I don't even think her character had an actual arc, if I'm being honest with you. Jane was another character who I liked, but I thought that her cancer storyline was pretty weak, and it's not dealt with the maturity and impact that it should have had. The final thing I want to talk about is I think the tone wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but there's still a tone issue which caused me not to be emotionally invested when the movie ended up getting serious for specific moments. It does sound like I hate the movie, and honestly, I don't. I think the movie had a bunch of highs, but it had even more lows. This movie isn't better than Ragnarok because everything this movie lacks, Ragnarok does better. But the movie is fun and can be funny. But if you didn't like Ragnarok, I'm sure you won't like this. For me personally, I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. That's not a bad score. It's not a great score either. I think that this movie, once again, if you're a big Marvel fan, I think you're going to like this. I think, as a Marvel fan myself, I think the movie's a 7, but as the movie itself, I think it's about a 6. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you guys share the same thoughts that I had with this movie? Do you really like this movie? Is this one of your favorite MCU movies? Or do you fall along the same line as me? Let me know in the comments, and those are my thoughts on that.